I'm so sorry, guys. Hey guys, I just forgot to turn on the microphone. Right now it's probably good. Hey guys, I'm really excited. Donald here.
Suzanne.
Erik and Frank.
We are at the middle of AIFD Symposium at Seattle. So I met these two gentlemen. They are amazing designer. Did a really amazing program this morning. So I want to interview them and ask them tips and tricks how they did their program. Coming up. I'm going to ask them a few questions about the program they did this morning. They're amazing. I saw some of the structure. I was really lucky to work beside them at the workroom. Can you tell us about your program?
Sure. So the idea of our program, we live in this area. We are born and raised Washingtonians, and the symposium's in Washington and Seattle this year, so we thought it would be really great to share a little bit
everybody
about...
welcome to our backyard.
Yeah, where we're born and raised in the place that we love to call home.
Yeah, I think because we are from this side of the country, we more understand about this. Tree is different, the ocean is different, and the people is different.
The lush greens.
Yes, I know.
The rain.
The rain. So that's why we have so much green.
That's right. So many people know the Pacific Northwest is, oh, it rains all the time, but you know, we're so fortunate that it does because it is so lush and green here, right? And the people are real and they're friendly. That's what I love about the Northwest.
That's good. That's good.
And I think it brought a lot of sensitivity to your program because you really did express that emotion. That's so important in design, and to bring that element in, to make that connection with people is so important. And I really felt all the things you wanted to share. It was very, very special to me.
Yeah, we really felt like sharing a personal story along with maybe a funny anecdote, maybe along with a little bit of technique and style and design, actual design technique. Would be a really great balance for a program, and I think it came off quite well.
In the Northwest here, we really seem to have an affinity and love for architecture and combining art and architecture within the landscape. That was something that I shared with Erik and a few other people, but I didn't mention in the program that my father was a landscape architect and worked for the state of Washington. And coming out of the workroom the other night, prior to the show, it was all quiet out here, and I realized I'm presenting at the convention center, and my father was one of the key landscape architects that created Freeway Park, which is right out here outside the windows. So walking out the door and seeing that, I was like, wow, everything comes full circle.
That's right.
Let's go back to your program. I'm so lucky to work beside these two amazing gentlemen, and I saw some of the structure is out of this world. It's just beautiful. So how you get your inspiration from your structure, and also what is your favorite pieces?
So we did a few pieces, and I think what we thought might be our favorite pieces became different, which was interesting in the process. But probably for me, my very favorite piece was the piece that we called Emerald City, which was a giant orb with suspended flowers, and that armature and everything really just kind of created itself in the process, and I loved it.
That one is actually pretty big. It's like 5 feet tall, isn't it?
Yeah,
like
it was about. I think it was about 4.5 fully, dimensional speed. It was very dramatic.
You want to just kind of live there.
Yeah, I was. It's like almost like a paradise.
Yeah.
Flower paradise.
Yeah.
It was.
And do you have some technique you want to share with the people?
The one technique that I will share is about hot glue. What we know to be hot glue, where you take one thing and glue it to another, and we've used hot glue ever since the 80s, probably, for me anyway. We utilized it as more of an armature, so utilizing it in an unusual way by creating a structure to then glue flowers to is something that is a little more unconventional. So
I
regular
love
It
the
was
pieces you
beautiful.
do. Well,
There's something about showing something on our main stage here at Symposium, don't you think, that kind of elevates, and because of the lighting and everything on stage, the hot glue just sparkles. It just glows.
That's right.
Yeah.
The possibilities. I think that's the most
Yeah.
fun about when you're creating. Like when you sketch something out and you have a vision, and when it comes to creating it, don't you find that it
Oh, yeah.
changes? Sometimes it takes you into a different direction completely.
Completely different
And it's a
For
wonderful
me,
learning
this
experience.
program,
It
I
is.
think my
It is.
favorite piece was the one that was inspired by glass artist Dale Chihuly here in Seattle. And that piece for me, I had done a sketch originally, but when it got down to starting the base structure for that, let's just say it just wasn't happening. And it just wasn't working, nothing was working, I was really frustrated with it, and I literally had to get out of the shop and get away from it and clear my head, clear my thoughts, and I'm one that I have a tendency to work very organically. I don't necessarily plan ahead all the time. So when I did finally get back in the shop and say, okay, I have to do something with this because I've got a deadline here, and I just sat down and I forgot about Symposium. I forgot about what I was trying to ultimately get to what my goal was, and I just started to create. And it's like I didn't really have any plan about it, and I just let it develop.
I think one of the good techniques you just talk about is walk away. You know, when you have something you're not working for you, just
Right.
walk away from it and then come back and rethinking about it. And I love that pieces. And also, we just talked about this morning on my program, talk about I learn from mistake more than a success pieces, because I don't learn anything from this, like easy going pieces.
Yeah, and sometimes when you get out, that's when you see something totally different, but it clicked.
Yes, exactly.
And
Yes,
you're like,
exactly.
aha, now I've got it.
Thank you so much for today, and thank you Frank, and thank you Eric, and thank you of course, thank you Suzanne for helping me to interview these two amazing gentlemen.
Yes.
And hopefully you like this video. I'm sure you already learned something from Erik and Frank. And if you have any question, leave a comment below and share with your friend. And see you guys later. Bye.